All right, this is day 5 of the budget series. I'm having to re record it because the first recording had some technical issues, just like day 1. I don't know what's going on. This is my new microphone, so I don't know if there's just something going on with the microphone itself or if it's the program I'm using. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this one works. So, last week, or the first 5 days of the budget series, is all about creating a budget that you can actually stick to. So, I walked you through how to create a realistic budget for you and your lifestyle, your family. And today, I want to talk about the things that you can do to help you stick with it in the long term, because motivation is only going to take you so far. As Mel Robbins says, motivation is garbage. She actually has an entire podcast episode dedicated to this, and it's called Motivation is Garbage. I 100% agree with her. Motivation will only get you so far. And it's normal. You're going to be so motivated at certain times and not motivated at others. So how do you keep going when you are not motivated, when you just don't want to do it, when you feel like it's another thing you have to do, you're super busy, you don't have time for this, all of those thoughts going through your head? What's the point? I suck. Nothing I do is going to be good enough. The budget doesn't work. All those things, right? All those negative thoughts that we tell ourselves about why it's not going to work for us. But if you can build systems and habits and routines that you can easily incorporate into things that you're already doing, you're going to be able to stick with it in the long term through those times that you're not motivated. So, how do you build habits and routines that are going to sustain you in the long term? You've got to look at your schedule. This is one thing that I do with my one-on-one clients is we actually look at the schedule. I have them put it down, and we use Google Sheets. So every 30-minute increments for each day of the week, which you can easily do. Google Sheets is free. And we figure out, okay, where is just a 30-minute time slot that they can check in, maybe track their expenses or check in with their budget, check in to see how things are going. Typically every single week at the same time, preferably. Now, I know some people's schedules change, so it may have to be okay, on my day off, this is what I'm going to do, or on a day that I work, I'm going to do it on my lunch break. So even if the days change, you still mentally know when you're going to do it. Preferably, if you can, same day, same time, same place, you're going to do the same things each week, and then you don't have to think about it, right? And how this may look. So what I used to do, my husband and I, when we both had just regular, and we were just employees, we got paid every other week. We actually got paid on opposite weeks. And so we actually got a paycheck every week. And so Thursday night was my routine to kind of balance my checkbook, see where we're at, make a plan for the next paycheck, just, check in with things, see if I need to adjust anything, what we expect to receive. And then Friday morning, I would check before work. I would go in a few minutes early, maybe about 15. Guys, this doesn't take long. You don't need much time. Once you set the budget up, which does take a little bit of time, once you have the budget running, you're just copying it month to month. It doesn't take that much time. And I think that sometimes we psych ourselves out of just doing the damn thing because we're afraid of how long it's going to take us, when in reality, it doesn't take that long. Okay. So Friday morning, I would check to see how much paychecks actually were. Then I would make my little tweaks. I would decide, usually the night before, what cash I needed to get and all of that. Of course, I would double check that, decide if, the paycheck was a little less or a little more, where that, what adjustments needed to be made. And then Friday during my lunch break, I would go to the bank and get the cash. Now, keep in mind, I was a police officer, detective. I didn't have 100% control over my schedule. Stuff happens that you Cannot decide when or where or any of that, right? So, of course, there are times that I had to make adjustments. I'd either have to go later or maybe I didn't go to the bank that day and I would feel off, right? Whenever you get in a routine of doing something and you can't follow through with it, you feel like you're missing something. Like there is something wrong in the universe because I haven't done something that I'm used to doing. So, that is what I want you to start to implement and put into practice is a routine of when you can do certain things. Now, the other part of that is creating new habits. Okay. So it takes time to change your behavior, and that is what is going to change your finances for the long term. Okay. Along with your routines. So habits are similar to routines. Sometimes I use them interchangeably, but one of the techniques that you can use to help build good habits is called habit stacking. Now, I don't know who originally came up with this term. It was not me. I've seen numerous people use it. I've also heard different variation, like it called different thing, but it's you're stacking an old habit, something that you already do without having to think about it, with you add in a new habit together. So you're like pairing habits, an old with a new. So what this may look like, as an example, I had to start taking a new medication at night. Well, I kept forgetting. And then I couldn't remember if I took it, and I couldn't take double. And so there was days that I either didn't take it or I didn't know if I had already taken it. And this was an issue for me because I could not remember if I'd taken it, and then I was forgetting to take it as well. And so what I decided to do, because I'm like, how am I going to solve this problem? Like I have to have some kind of system that I know if I took it or not. And so what I started to do was I had my night guard that I put in without fail every single day. Like I cannot sleep without it. Put it in right before bed at night. And I started putting that medication bottle on top of the case. Now, if it was not on the case, that means I took it, because I would take it, put it off the case, put it in my mouth guard. And then in the morning I do, clean my mouth guard, all that stuff, put it in the case, put the medicine on top of it. Once I did that for a couple days, like now I never forget to do it. Now it's a habit. I take my medicine every night. So what is something that you already do that you can now add something with your finances to it? Maybe you take a walk every single day, whether at lunch, in the morning, after work. You could listen to a podcast. My podcast, Money Mindset Podcast. This might be what you're listening to now, or if you're listening on YouTube, you can hear it on podcast app, which is a little bit easier in my opinion to listen is a podcast while you're trying to do something else. So it could be an audiobook, a self-improvement audiobook. It could be a finance book. I listen and watch a lot of self-improvement content as opposed to finance content, because they really go together. Once you start improving your finances, you start improving your life. Like it's really kind of crazy to think about it that way, but it's true. Once you start working on your finances, you just start to improve your life, and then you want to improve other areas as well. And so they go together a lot. And so, you can listen to finance or self-improvement or, something that's going to help you, not just gossip or, celebrity trash, like just like the trashy stuff. Of course, that is great for when you just want to relax and stuff. But I want you to think about something that you can do even 15 minutes a day that's going to help improve your life. Okay. And then you can go to Netflix and the celebrity gossip and all that. Because I watch that stuff too. So there's no judgment. I'm just saying, like, in addition to that, also do something that helps improve your life. Pick a day or two at a minimum, especially when you're just starting a week, that you can work on your finances. So maybe the other days at that same time, you're listening to a podcast or reading a book or something like that. And then 2 days a week, you are checking in with your spending, checking in with your budget, see if you're on track, those types of things. So let me know in the comments, what are you going to start to do to start building these habits and the routines that are going to help your finances in the long term? Of course, if you are not already, make sure you're subscribed, you're following either on the podcast player or on YouTube. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I would love to hit 1,000 here soon. I appreciate all of your guys' support. If you love this content, make sure you're liking and subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. And, in the month of June, so I'm recording this at the end of May, and during the month of June, we're going to talk a lot about habits and routines. So if you like this topic, make sure you're following along because we've got a lot going on this month that is all centered around habits and routines. So I will see you guys soon.